Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the RavenQuest Podcast with Andy, where we take you from patch notes to profits. All right. So last episode was obviously our first episode. Thank you to everybody for tuning in once again here on episode 2. Basically, for today, we are going to be talking about the RavenQuest Munk Madness expansion. There has been an announcement. There was an AMA, as well as the official, as if you're watching on the video, you can see the official monkmadness.ravenquest.io, I guess, expansion hype site is up. I believe that the team is calling it a teaser site, but yeah, super exciting. Right off the bat, I'll rip off the Band-Aid. Munk Madness expansion is coming November 22nd of 2025. So as of the time of this recording, that is 2 weeks away, and I'm pretty excited. So right off the bat, I'm noticing a ton of like carnival themes. You know, there's well-dressed monks all around wearing like vests and top hats, feathers in their hat, that kind of thing. You know, nice ties and ribbons all over. You got the classic red and white big carnival tents. So obviously a lot of, carnival-esque theming going on. I do have this trailer pulled up. This is on the site. So I'm going to play. You guys are going to get a kick out of this. I'm going to play the Munk Madness official trailer. If you are watching this in video format, feel free to watch, or else there is an awesome song that goes along with it. So for you listeners, please enjoy.
Snow with a monk-sized mad dream and a long way to go till they found a green field beneath the sun's gleam. The end of the journey, the start of the dream. They built up the tents, the carnival's here, a party with laughter and friendship and cheer. The movers race, the fortune wheel spins. Come on now. Come test out your luck. Let's see who wins. November 22nd. The madness begins.
November 22nd. Sorry, that part just cracks me up. Nice. Yeah, so that's the the Munk Madness official expansion trailer with the song. So obviously pretty hilarious. You know, in the song there's lyrics about them like setting up and going through like the MOA races, betting and spinning the wheel, that kind of thing. So just sort of gives us the impression of what we're going to actually get. And on top of that, we do obviously the song sings about it, but we got, visual confirmation as well of, the mounts racing, or the MOAs racing, I should say. There was the visual of the guy like spinning the wheel, and then you see he wins, and he wins that like blue pet that's now sitting on top of his head. So, and we will get into what you can actually earn in the Munk Madness Carnival down the line in this episode, but basically one of the really big expansion teasers is that we are going to be getting pets. So I'm super excited, and we'll definitely get into it. So just going on down through the website, the first thing it shouts out is there will be a upcoming guild shop as well as guild war contraptions. The war for RavenQuest is about to evolve. Munk Madness will introduce new strategic depth to Guild Wars, as well as a full guild perk shop system. That is huge. Pictured here on the site, this is their teaser. They do mention somewhere on the site that these numbers are not final, so don't, take these for granted. But basically, there is like a whole new guild shop panel, or tab in the guild panel, and it shows here that they have an active creature experience, 5% creature XP buff going. And it looks like it's active for 3 hours. No, wait. 0 hours, 21 minutes. Hold on, let me zoom in. Oh no, that is a 3, dude. I'm blind. Okay, 3 hours, 21 minutes, 55 seconds. So I mean, it looks also like it's spending silver to buy these guild-wide buffs. Now, the ones that are listed here, creature XP, creature drop rate, Aether Stone drop, gathering XP, crafting XP, and luck in expedition. Now, depending on the prices of these could be super, super lucrative. And I imagine also there might be more. In fact, in the screenshot, there's a scroll wheel and it's only showing these top 6. So I'm curious to see if there's more. But I mean, creature XP, big, knock out more Ranger Company, get your guildmates leveled up. Maybe a new recruit just joined in, get them leveled up, get them ready for Guild War. Creature drop rate, dude, that's cash. Depending on the silver cost, that might be profitable. Literally. If that only costs, like, let's say something super, super low, if that costs 100 silver and it gives you a 22% creature drop rate, that's what's pictured. I mean, that's pretty significant. I could see these perks costing millions of gold though, especially if it is like a guild wide, like 24-hour buff. That could be pretty powerful. So curious to see the prices, but literally I could see the creature drop rate one being profitable, especially if you get something like a trophy or, 20% more infusions, 20% more cosmetic materials, whatever it is. Super interested to see the price on that. The Aether Stone drop, just getting more Aether crystals, or I guess people call them Aether Stones. I call them Aether crystals. I guess they're officially called Aether Stones. My apologies. I've always been a Crystal Andy. God, that sounds like I'm on drugs. Anyways, the Aether Stone drop rate. Now, what this is, I believe, is just simply when you're killing mobs, it'll have more likelihood to pop up. This is going to be very attractive for the people that are pushing leaderboards to like get like number 1 Rift wins leaderboard. Having more like, okay, the only way you can get Aether charges is, your 4 dailies from adventure, or 3 dailies from adventure board. And then really like the only main source I can think of is getting those Aether Stone drops out in the wild when you're mob grinding. So this will be super interesting. I'm sure that the leaderboard pushers will love that. Just one more way for them to push more Aether Stones, get more Aether Rift charges, and rip through more rifts. So, from Patch Notes to Profits, if people are able to do more Aether Stones, you think about the products that come from the Aether rifts, such as like Aether marked runes. If this really does increase the amount of Aether Stones people are getting, and therefore the Aether rifts people are completing, it's possible we could see supply increase on the Aether marked echoes and stuff like that. So gathering XP and crafting XP, those are going to be super, super similar. Just, more XP for whatever the cost is for your guild. And then luck and expeditions. I guess this one could also be profitable. If you have really high luck, you get those shiny keys, you open those chests, it's just better loot. More chances at the gemstones, all that kind of stuff. So the creature drop rate one and the luck and expeditions could literally be profitable depending on the price of silver, as well as depending on how many guildmates are grinding hard. Like if you have, I believe the biggest guild is 250 members you can go up to. I'm also just pulling up the game to double check that. But if you have 250 guild members all getting a 22% creature drop rate bonus, like, damn, like that sounds pretty lucrative. Okay, I pulled up the game just to check how many guild members you can have. It is 250. Yeah. So if the most effective and active guild has 250 pushers, grinders, all getting these bonuses, like these, I think some guilds will find that there's like a tipping point of where this becomes profitable. I'm super curious if the prices will be like set in stone or if they'll ebb and flow based on, how many times your guild has bought it or something. Super, super curious. But then on top of that, in the shop system, and maybe this is what it scrolls down to, is this next part. Utilize new contraptions. Control positions with war banners and fight for dominance on the battlefield. And it shows a couple of options. There is first I'll just start with the war banners. It says plant war banners at strategic timings to provide temporary war buffs to your guild. And I see 4 different colors of war banner. There's blue, red, green, and yellow. I am assuming that these are going to offer different buffs. Like maybe one is, a healing power buff. Maybe one is a attack power, spell power. I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe they're just straight attack power, defense power buffs. We will have to see. And then also we have the Ballistas. It says strategically position Ballistas to provide additional firepower during large battles and help defend towers. Now, I am curious if these Ballistas are like automatic turrets or if you're going to have to actually like man the Ballista. It'd be pretty cool to like drop a Ballista near one of the towers or near the Guild War flag, jump on and just start bing, 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 start dinking dudes. Like that'd be cool. But I do imagine this is going to be like an automatic turret though. That's my prediction. But yeah, war banners and Ballistas. This could shake up GVG. I'm really not sure if these are going to be available outside of GVG. This does literally say to introduce a new strategic depth to guild wars. So I'm going to also go out and bet that Ballistas and war banners won't be usable in the open world, just in guild wars. So between all of the guild like stat boosts and the new contraptions, this is going to make guild coordination even more important. Having an active guild that's leading these things, maybe every Saturday or Sunday you have a creature drop rate. All your members jump on and mob grind together. The better the coordination, the better you can take advantage of these buffs and just make that, I'm so curious what the silver cost is going to be, but I was going to say make that silver cost more efficient, So super, super curious to see how guilds will be min-maxing these new systems. And I am super curious to see if these Ballistas and war banners will be like super powerful. Maybe they'll be OP. Hard to say. I'm just curious. So from Patch Notes and Profits on this, if this is a huge new silver sync, well, it will be, right? I mean, it looks like all these perks are costing silver. I mean, I only see 2 icons out of the 6, but one big thing I'm realizing is that this is going to be a huge new, well, we don't know if it's going to be huge. I predict it's going to be huge. Like I could really see these costing like a couple million for like a day's worth of a big buff. But if this is, when this becomes a new silver sync, this is going to drive up demand on silver. From Patch Notes to Profits, the silver to quest ratio that's always been pretty steady, 1 quest to 20,000 silver, you can exchange. I could see this shaking it up a bit. I mean, if guilds are really spending millions and millions of silver, possibly every 24 hours, depending on the length of these buffs, maybe they're even shorter. Maybe it's a 4-hour buff because this one only shows 3 hours, 21 minutes remaining. Yeah, I'm just curious. This could shake up the demand for silver quite a bit, as well as the supply for, the creature drop rates, any supply from the Aether rifts, and any supplies from the expeditions. All of those, if they are buffed, should in theory receive supply increases. So very, very interesting stuff coming out of the guild shop and guild war contraptions. Moving on down, we now must prepare for a new era of open world PvP. I love how much they hype it up. That's kind of funny. Munk Madness brings a fully redesigned open world zone PvP system, including unique PvP zone bonuses, increased PvP chance, and open world Aether monoliths to war over and conquer for additional rewards. Now, that's really all it mentions here, sadly. So we don't know too much about the like Aether monoliths or these unique PvP zones, whether it's going to be more or less different from like conflict areas right now. I'm super curious how this will turn out. And I'm hopeful because I am a PvP stan. I'm hopeful that this does increase the PvP chances out in the open world. Like personally, if I'm mob grinding, I don't want to be bothered. But if I'm going out to these PvP zones and whatever these Aether monoliths to war over are worthwhile, I could see me, hit up the guild chat like, hey, who's available to run to this monolith right now? Like, I want X loot. Now, I don't want to speculate too much on what these rewards could be, but depending on how good the rewards could be, maybe this is something, I think to the current like PvP open world zones, like there's the whole plunder channel, but we won't talk about that. Then there's the conflict zones. And really, I don't think I've ever gone to a conflict zone to PvP because there's really not much reward for doing it. In fact, you would just gain infamy. And then the Culled Eyes is the other PvP zone currently. Those I do go to. And I usually just farm the mobs. I've never actually been like a player killer there, but I have been killed in, and people do kill there for the rewards. Like getting those Culled Eyes is valuable. And so, but I've never seen people pull up with like their whole guild. So what I'm curious about this system is, are these monoliths good enough to feed like a whole guild? Like, is there a reason for the parties to show up instead of just like, oh, I might go kill one person grinding Culled Eyes and and get my reward? Like, I guess I should say I don't see people calling parties to Culled Eyes, but I'm curious to see if we'll be seeing people call their parties to these, I don't even know what to call them, open world Aether monoliths, I suppose. But yeah, that's really all they mention here is just that couple sentences. So hoping to see a lot more information about these Aether monoliths and the new PvP zones and their bonuses. This is good though. This is good because there's a lot of people that complain like, oh, I can't go PvP when I want. This should give us one more, I guess, time to go in PvP. So pretty cool. Scrolling on down, they mention new progression and balance. The Munk Madness update will go beyond new content. Dude, that's so funny. With the expansion comes new progression, a major balance patch, new high stakes expeditions, and more. So the first one is new mounts. Explore RavenQuest in style with 4 new mounts to obtain. I'm pretty sure these are going to be cosmetic, and it's not going to be like, oh, go and breed 4 new mount types. Like, it's not going to be those dinosaurs or anything. I just imagine this is going to be mount cosmetics. Curious to see if these are going to be like NFTs or maybe tied to like new lucky chests that are coming. I guess this is a new expansion season. There could be something like that on the way. Or if these will be earnable in game. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I guess technically everything's earnable since you can earn quests in the game and then buy. But yeah, I'm curious to see the mounts. That's cool. Major balance patch says Munk Madness will bring a major archetype balance patch. The goal to bring a shift in the meta to PvP and PvE in RavenQuest. Obviously, balancing is necessary. I guess we'll just see what the changes are. Good to see. I hope they don't nerf me. High stakes system. Reduce grinding time, but increasing your risk in high stakes expeditions and Aether echoes. Cool. Honestly, interesting. I'm curious to see if this is like going to be like, hey, bring 2 Aether echoes at once or something, but the boss is 50% harder. I don't know. And the reduced grinding time in expeditions. I don't know how you could reduce it unless you make it shorter or do like 2 expeditions at once, but it's harder or something. Interesting. I think end game players who are like, maybe they're close to maxed out, as strong as can be, like laughing at these challenges. I don't know how stacked people get at like level 80 plus, but I'm on the way. I just hit legacy 76. I got myself a big legacy skill now. Yeah, pretty hyped about that. But I don't know if the top dogs are clearing, madness echoes with ease, maybe they are really excited for this to get harder and be more lucrative. So I like that. Curious to hear more. I guess patch notes to profits, like if people are able to complete these expeditions and echoes faster, more efficiently, at least the echoes, like the trophies, maybe the trophies will have greater supply, could become cheaper. And then from expeditions, maybe gemstones will get cheaper. Trying to get myself some gemstones right now. They're so expensive. They are so expensive. But alas. Yeah, curious to hear more on that. I'm just curious about everything. That's I think I've said curious too many times. Anyways, scrolling on down. We have your loyal pet awaits. Collect pets to join you in your adventure, each bringing a unique trait, with higher tier pets having the unique ability to transmute. So, right off the bat, pets are coming. Honestly, I'm a big fan of pets in like MMOs and RPG games. I just like having like a little guy following me around. It's kind of cool. What we know immediately from this sentence: collect pets. So there will be more than one type of pet, as well as there's like 5 of them pictured. There's this Shiba dog. It's like an owl with antlers. This one looks like a tiny little dragon. This one's a penguin, and then this one looks like a capybara. So, I obviously love cute things. I think most people do. So these are really, really cool to see. But yeah, we'll know that there's multiple types of pets. We know that they will have multiple tiers of pets, and these ones have like their rims. It's like the common up to exalted and legendary. So I'm curious to see what these unique traits are going to be, though. And it says higher tier pets have the unique ability to transmute. Now, transmuting we could speculate unlimited on transmuting. That word catches my eye. That word instantly catches my eye. And really, it's because of a few things. Like if I Google what is transmuting, I think I was Googling it earlier. Oh yeah, it's right here. Change in form, nature, or substance. And this one says like there's a quest to transmute lead into gold. Like, I don't know. That's just like the Google's definition. But basically, transmuting, I wonder if this is going to be a silver faucet. Whether pet transmutes will like turn items or convert materials into silver. It could become a new silver faucet. I could see this going down a similar route. I don't know if there's any like RuneScape Andes in the audience, but I'm curious to see if transmuting will be something akin to like alchemy. There's the low alchemy and high alchemy spells in RuneScape where you basically, with some inputs and a piece of equipment, you basically, through alchemy, turn it into the gold pieces and get coins pretty much. And so I'm curious if it will be similar to that. Whether, oh, my dog just snored. I hope you guys didn't hear too much of that. Good girl. But I'm curious to see if it'll be something like that, sort of like RuneScape's alchemy system. Another theory I have is resource conversion. It might not be a silver faucet. It might be transmuting resources from one item to another. Like maybe it's from small logs to heavy logs. Maybe it's from like small logs to, an herbalism or like mining item. Maybe it's small logs to copper ore. I could see it being, transmutes in that way too, converting resources into another. So those are my top theories as to what transmuting means, but apparently this will be reserved for the people with high tier pets. So super, super curious to hear more on what that is. So without official details yet, obviously it's all speculation, but gosh, if I'm curious, this could be big. I mean, patch notes to profits. If this is a new silver input, silver supply goes up. If this is a item sink, maybe pieces of equipment that people aren't using could come down, or all speculation. Now, personally, I will be trying very hard to at least get a pet. Like I mentioned earlier, I love just having a little guy hanging around with me. And you heard me on, I just had my dog stop by and my cat's sitting on top of my computer as we speak. So I am a pet enjoyer, looking forward to it. Obviously, what we talked about with the transmute is totally speculative. We also don't even know what these other traits could be. I have been in the AMA, I think it was mentioned that these will not be combat pets. And I'm really not sure what these traits will do. I just know that these pets will not be fighting alongside you. They're not like summons. And then also, if you guys are nervous, like, oh my gosh, am I going to go to town and see 100 pets running around? Is this going to slow down my game? Is this too many, critters running around? But they said either there will be like settings to turn it off, or you'll just be able to see your own pet. Basically, it just, my impression is that's not to be worried about. Yeah, dude, this might be my most speculative section because, man, but that's kind of half of the fun of this podcast is just trying to read the tea leaves before the updates drop. Very interesting. Scrolling on down, we have Experience the Rush of MOA races. Now, this one is kind of goofy. I believe it's akin to gambling. MOAs take the track and race for glory at the Munk Carnival. Choose your MOA champion. Cheer as they race against the fastest MOAs in the land. Okay, so coming on down, we have Experience the Rush of MOA races, as well as try your luck at the Fortune Wheel. Now, these are both going to be actually at the Munk Carnival that is coming in the Munk Madness expansion. I suppose there will be an actual like physical location that your player will go to. So at the Munk Carnival, so let's start with the MOA racing. MOAs take to the track and race for glory at the Munk Carnival. Choose your MOA champion and cheer as they race against the fastest MOAs in the land. Now, I did manage to find this older post, basically a devlog about the Munk Carnival stuff coming. And MOA racing is mentioned in specific a little more in more details here. So it says here, every 2 minutes, 6 of the fastest and most unpredictable MOAs in the realm take to the track. So this is going to happen every 2 minutes. Every 2 minutes. That's pretty fast. Each with their own quirks and style. By talking to the Monk bookie. No way, dude. They're actually adding a bookie. Okay, that's epic. By talking to the Monk bookie, adventurers can bet on their favorite racers using carnival chips or lucky chips with payouts that would make a Monk banker blush. Once bets are placed, countdown begins. Adventurers can take to the stands and watch the race play out. Blah, blah, blah. No two races are ever the same. Only one racer will cross the line first, claiming all the glory and winnings. It says here whether you're a risk taker, spectator, or or just a fan of fast birds. That's me. MOA racing guarantees one thing: pure Monk fun. So that's the MOA racing. I wanted to talk about a couple things in here that it mentioned. These carnival chips and lucky chips. If we scroll up, they have the Carnival currencies information section. I don't know what to call this. The Carnival currencies excerpt. And it mentions to take part in the festivities at the carnival, you'll need carnival chips and lucky chips. They can be traded back and forth with the ever-smiling Munk Chip Master. You'll be able to change silver into carnival chips and lucky coins into lucky chips. And then it shows here that players can use the rewards to basically spin the fortune wheel and get a chance at rewards, including a chance at pets. I guess this is a little bit of a pity system to explain here. The fun doesn't end there, guys. Every bet placed, win or lose, earns carnival stubs or lucky stubs. So just following this, you take your silver, buy carnival chips. You then bet your carnival chips. If you win, you get more carnival chips and stubs. If you lose, I don't think you get the chips, but you'll get your stubs. So it's like, I don't know if it's like a pity system, but it's like a rewards program at the Munk Carnival. So even if you're losing, you'll get at least the stubs. And then same process, lucky coins exchange to lucky chips, win or lose more lucky chips, and then get the guaranteed lucky stubs for just gambling at all. So even if it says here, so even if luck doesn't strike today, every wager sets you up for a chance at incredible prizes and rewards ahead. So pretty interesting. As like I'm a numbers guy. I'm curious. I've always been looking into like gambling and looking for like positive expected value bets and stuff. I am excited and curious. There's that curious word again, to see like what the odds are in the MOA races and stuff. Like, is each bird even chance? I don't think so. But how skewed are the chances? How skewed is the betting? I'm really curious. Oh my gosh, I'm so curious today. Sorry about that word again. I really want to dig into those like statistics and try to find out like a winning betting strategy for turning, the most silver into the most chips or the most coins into the most chips. Really, really excited for this actually. So that's the MOA racing and currencies. And then we do want to talk about the next portion. Yeah, try your luck at the fortune wheel. So use stubs from the carnival for a chance to win rewards and cosmetics from the fortune wheel. I want to know if it mentions anything here. It does. Okay, so after it talks about the MOA races, it talks about the fortune wheel here. That is, use stubs at the carnival for a chance to obtain new unique rewards and cosmetics at the new carnival fortune wheel. And the carnival fortune wheel is also mentioned on this dev blog. Goes into the fortune wheel is the perfect place to spend your carnival stubs and lucky stubs. So I don't know if you can actually spend your chips here. It might just be stubs. Says choose between two dazzling options. The carnival wheel. Answer my question right now. The carnival wheel that uses carnival stubs, or the lucky wheel that uses lucky stubs. Alternatively, lucky coins can just straight up be used for both wheels. Okay. Each spin has a chance at a reward ranging from valuable items to something more special. Pets. The newest companion to befriend you in RavenQuest. Interesting. So the stubs, you'll use them at the carnival wheel. I'm curious to see what the chips will be used for. So that's okay. That's all they mentioned about the carnival in the teaser site, but I do want to mention a couple other things. They mentioned this lucky raffle. Step right up to Cornelius Gold Whiskers. Lucky raffle. The crown jewel of the carnival. Hosted by the self-proclaimed Sultan of Lucky Paws. Dang. So this grand lottery runs every 72 hours and gives adventurers a chance to walk away with truly massive prizes, apparently. To join, purchase raffle tickets from Cornelius using Carnival chips, the silver version only. So the Carnival chips. Interesting. Okay, so what's one use of the silver chips, the Carnival chips versus the Lucky Coins one. Okay, it's Carnival chips are the silver one. Lucky chips are the Lucky Coin ones. Okay, that should be easy enough to remember. So Carnival chips get you in the Lucky Raffle. It shows here the price is redacted, funny enough, on the image, so I can't say. But it does have options to buy 1, 25, 100, 1,000. So if people are buying 1,000 tickets, I don't know if one lucky ticket is going to be too great of odds. But depending on what the rewards are, this could be cool to enter. I really don't know. I'm not much of a raffle guy because it is just straight up usually a losing game in reality. But in something like a video game, or specifically like RavenQuest, like this could be worthwhile or a positive expected value. I don't know. Depends on what the rewards are. That's I'm not going to say I'm curious, but I'm curious. Yeah, we'll have to see what the rewards of these raffle is. I know that the RavenQuest team has been teasing like the idea of giving out like NFT land and stuff. Oh, you know what? It says the carnival's biggest prizes, from rare cosmetics to extraordinary treasures. So we at least know cosmetics will be an option. I wonder if this is going to be the 4 new mounts. I wonder. But yeah, extraordinary treasures, we don't know. This could be a fat stack of silver. This could be 1 million small logs. This could be a small NFT land. We really don't know, but I'm curious to see what these grand prizes will be. So yeah, this will happen every 72 hours. And once a winner is chosen, all tickets get cleared and a new raffle will begin. What's nice is this does at least appear to show in the teaser here how many tickets are entered. So, I mean, personally, I would probably wait until near the end of that 72 hours, kind of keep an eye on how many tickets are entered. You know, is my 10 tickets 1% of the value or 1% of the pie? Is it 0.0001% of the pie? You know, should I save my tickets for next week when there's half as many tickets entered? All that is really, really interesting. Also, we just don't know the prizes, whether they'll be... I imagine that the raffle prize will change every 3 days. So if there is anything like an achievement for winning one of these, maybe consider using your tickets on like a lame prize. That's not a week, lame prize 72-hour period. If there is like any sort of achievements related to this, which I could see. So but yeah, that's the lucky raffle, at least the use of the carnival coin or carnival chips. We still don't know what lucky chips are used for. And I don't know if it mentions. Let me just control F it. I'm not seeing it. Yeah, you can bet on the MOA races with them. This does show, the only other mention of lucky chips on the whole page is top bettors will compete to see their name featured at the top of the carnival leaderboard, which tracks the total lifetime lucky chips wagered. And those that climb to the very top will earn the exclusive King's Gambit adornment for your health bar. So that's pretty cool. This takes lucky coins to get, and I have never interacted with lucky coins. So I don't think I'll be doing much of the lucky chips stuff. But with the silver and the raffle and the MOA racing cut. But between the MOA racing and Lucky Raffle and Fortune Wheel. I definitely plan to get involved with my Silver and Carnival tokens. Or Carnival chips, I should say. So yeah, that's pretty much all that I know about the Carnival right now. I mean, I'm expecting like cosmetics, some rewards if you're lucky from betting, or at least you'll get your stubs out. And yeah, I really, really do want to get my hands on a pet. One thing I want to mention about the pets that I heard in the AMA with Niter after they released this site was that the pets, there will be a 1 of 1, like the 1 of 1 legendary version that's going to have like, I think he called it the shiny version of that pet was the word that Niter used. And if you're a Pokemon Andy, I'm a big Pokemon stan. You'll know like the shiny Pokemon, they look, they're incredibly rare, but they look a little bit different. And I think that's actually going to be the case in RavenQuest. There will be 1 of each pet. So, if we scroll back up to like these, like there would be 1 Shiba Inu shiny that somebody gets. There'd be 1 owl shiny that somebody gets. At least that's the impression I got when listening to the AMA. Okay, scrolling on down, we have this mention. Catch up to the latest content. New and returning adventurers receive boosted XP and equipment to level 60. This is talking about, I think this is actually in the last expansion, claiming the Book of Heroism just literally gives you 100% bonus XP up to level 60 for your legacy XP. Then you will get infusions and equipment drops. I think it's like at level 20, 30, 40, 50, if I'm not mistaken. And it says, catch fellow adventurers, join your friends in current content without feeling left behind. Brother, I'm left behind at level 76, dude. Like I play this game, I would say averaging like an hour or 2 a day, like pretty much daily. And dude, there's people that dump on me in PvP. Like it is, yeah, I feel left behind. Anyways, that's good that they're caring about new players. I think new players is the lifeblood of any game. We definitely need them. We definitely need to get them feeling battle ready. So that's good. I don't hate on that. I guess the only thing that sucks is like, I could stand next to a fresh level 60. If I was a level 60 and say, oh, I'm so proud I hit level 60. And then this guy's like, oh, I did it in half the time as you. It basically diminishes the prestige, I think is a good word to use. Diminishes the prestige of being level 60 and above. So, but I honestly don't think it diminishes it very much. This game, you still need so much XP at level 60 plus to get to, like, for example, to get your first legacy skill, level 76, where I just got to. Like, from 60 to here, it's been a hike. Yeah, that is the last thing mentioned on the page here. I guess I'll just mention it again. Munk Madness begins November 22nd. Cut. Yeah, so then the only other thing I wanted to talk about is these are going to be pretty short, but the last 2 patch notes that actually came through the game. So the first changelog that came after my last video was October 31st. That fixed an issue with the golden flag from Guild Wars being repeatedly marked on the minimap when dropped. Thank you to the team for this one. This was super annoying in Guild Wars, where on the map you'd be looking and there would be like 5 of the golden flags on the map. It would be ridiculous. And you'd be like, which one's real? Oh, it's that one. You'd have to sit there and look for which one's moving to know where the actual flag is. So very helpful. That will avoid a lot of confusion in future GVGs. Then there's this next changelog from November 7th, where there's a few Harvest Eve drop rate adjustments, but really we'll just get into the general changes here. It says adjusted Igneous's tractate item locations to areas of the castle that are accessible to all players. I'm actually not familiar with Igneous stuff right now. I'm hoping to get through that quest line soon, but hopefully that helps people. This next one's actually really big, and there's a patch note to profit on this one. Players can now gather resources while mounted. starting a gathering no longer will force a dismount. That is pretty cool. If players are able to just run from tree to tree or herb to herb a little bit faster, this won't help the miners unless you're mining on mountains. But this will primarily help like wood cutting and herbalism Andes. I think most people, honestly, I was going to say this in theory will increase the supply for like things like logs and pretty much all open world herbs, and just a touch to mining, because I know that there is mountaintops that have mines or mining nodes that you could technically mount towards, but really, I was going to say this, Patch Notes of Prophecies is going to increase the supply of a lot of the resources that you gather out in the open world. But really, I think this is going to have a small to negligible impact, though, because, one, realistically, gathering, you are not in combat, and you can mount up super, super fast. This is going to save people less than half of a second per node. Like, this is super, super, super small little time save. I think it's just primarily like a quality of life thing. So I don't think the supply of these resources is going to go up greatly, as well as I think a ton of the supply already for things like wood cutting, logs, and herbs comes from player housing. People grow the trees on their land, and then they'll mass gather it, whatever, versus, the bunch of people running around the open world chopping trees. So, but yeah, super cool quality of life. I love to see it. No longer forces the dismount. They removed unnecessary notification messages from farming and housing miscellaneous actions for a cleaner user experience. Thank you. This was annoying. You would plant, your dozen corn or whatever on your land, and then you would walk away, and every corn, 12 out of 12, whatever, it would say, oh, your corn will be ready in 16 hours. And it would stay up for 15 seconds. And then the next one would pop up, oh, your corn will be ready in 15 hours. And it was just ridiculous. And it would stay up for way too long, especially if you were someone with like a bunch of like NFT lands and you were very quick between your plantings. That has personally happened to me, where I would go from like land to land. And then after I'd be walking into RavenQuest and it would just stay on my screen. And it would, just so many notification messages. So glad that's gone. And then the last general change they have is clicking the arrow on the action bar no longer rotates it between horizontal and vertical orientations when the padlock is closed. So if you lock it, you won't be able to like spin it basically anymore, which is good. This will preventing accidental misclicks that previously disrupted the UI and required reopening the edit UI menu. Obviously, that's just another little quality of life change. So love to see it. And then, I'm going to skip over the bug fixes and the holiday changes because I think those are just kind of temporary things. So those were the last couple of patch notes. I think really the biggest one out of this for me is that golden flag in Guild Wars. Dude, that was... that would annoy me. I'm not going to lie. That one would annoy me. And the unnecessary notification messages. Both of those are going to be nice. So some good changes. Okay, so that's pretty much the meat and potatoes. I do have some really sad news for long-term viewers of the podcast here. I am dropping the segment that is going to be talking about like infusion prices. Sorry. Moving on to my viewer question segment. Had an amazing comment from Mango Ice Nugs here who asks, Andy, what items in game do you think might be smart to keep in bank long term for players who believe in the future success of RavenQuest? Put differently, oh, dude, you made so much sense right there, Nugs. You did not need to put it differently, my man. But put differently, what do you think might go up in value faster than other in-game items or silver? Infusions seem to be a classic example. What about crafting mats or profession products? Some herbs going to spike? Salt. Pumpkins for Harvest Eve 2026. Interested in your thoughts on this, Andy. So that's a very interesting question. And obviously, this is purely speculation. So make sure to dump your entire bank on whatever my idea is here. I think one interesting... So before I actually get into the real, what I think is best, one interesting idea, and I was thinking about this, if you only invest your silver into items that are at the floor price 20, think about the price action. The market guarantees a minimum price of 20, so things can't sell for 19 or below. If you buy a bunch of, I think let's just use toad chew for an example. It's like a herb that I have way too much of all the time. It just sells for 20. Toad chew. If you buy 1 million pieces of toad chew for 20 million silver, in 1 year from now, if toad chew has not gained value, your investment is still worth 20 million silver. But even if toad chew has gone up by 1 silver, that's 5% increase. You know, the smallest price action is a 5% increase on these 20 silver items. So interesting to think about, right? Like, it's either a guaranteed money back minus taxes, marketplace taxes, or guaranteed big profits, right? Now, it's only guaranteed on those scenarios. The scenarios are certainly not guaranteed. And realistically, the reason that these items are at the market floor value of 20 is because they really don't have value. It's just liquidity becomes the problem. There is too high of demand or too low of supply. These, toad chew, I don't even know what toad chew is used for. Probably some dirty potion. And so, like, who's going to buy these from me? Who's going to buy the 1 million toad chew in a year? So that's the catch. That, it's such an interesting, like, if I don't know what it's called, a theory or idea, but the 20 silver items, that's one idea. I probably wouldn't go with it, and I'm personally not doing it. But, they will always hold that price. Very, very interesting idea. So my actual answer, though, what I actually think is smart to keep in the bank long term, you have to think about a lot of items in RavenQuest have an unlimited supply. Any resource, any trophy, and gemstones, pretty much everything. And so things with these unlimited supplies, it's a total risk, right? Is the supply going to go up? Is the supply going to go down? Are more people grinding expeditions? Are these gemstones getting cheaper? Maybe tier 8 gear is coming up and maybe I need XYZ resources. You can take your best educated guesses at what the unlimited supply items are going to do. Those will always fluctuate up and down. And that's really like, it is a speculative market, But I think the things that are actually scarce will be the best to hold long term. Now, things like all the NFTs in game, like land. Actually, you know what? I was going to say Raven cards, but Raven cards actually get printed. So those are not unlimited. So like land NFTs, the quest token, the limited edition cosmetic NFTs, those mounts, the Harvest Eve pumpkin cosmetics for your house. There's a couple of them. Those are good things to hold long term. Because those are literally scarce. There will not be more of those made. Supply is capped. And in theory, as people lose access to their wallets or burn the tokens by accident, whatever, in theory, supply will actually decrease. Deflationary, right? So those can be good as long as demand stays healthy enough. Those could be good. Now you mentioned like what's smart to keep like in your bank or like in your inventory. This next one, I'm going to push a little bit because it's not something you necessarily hold on to. But I think investing in your player characters or like your hero's power directly can have a huge impact over time on, how much, okay, you buy yourself better gear today. Okay. For the next X amount of days, I am now earning more silver per hour, or I can now actually successfully beat every expedition I enter, or I won Guild Wars this week because of this, and now I'm getting so much fame, or, there's so many benefits to being a stronger character in game. So like buying yourself new gear, getting your infusions up, buying the proper gemstones, getting the proper runes on your equipment. I mean, even going as far as chasing renown to get yourself more fame every week. Like all of these character power improvements is going to result in a theoretical, permanent, unlimited return on investment. If I'm 10% more effective because of my silver I dumped onto that chest piece, now I'm making 10% more silver per day, whatever. So for me personally, I think investing long term, I literally am investing in my character. Second is going to be like the actual quest token itself. And then third is any of the NFTs, whether it's like land NFTs, cosmetic NFTs, whatever, things that boost renown. But yeah, that was an interesting one. Thank you so much for your question, Mango. Keep them coming, guys. If you guys want your question to be answered in an upcoming episode, please leave it in the comment below. Please, I would discourage anybody buying in bulk the 20 silver cost items, but it is a strategy. So now, because you do mention specifically keep in your bank, you cannot keep character power in a bank. You cannot keep quest token. Okay, no, that's not kept in the bank. You cannot keep quest token or any of the NFTs in the bank, right? It's like what actual like items do I think? One speculation I have for you is some of the Omega rare cosmetic items. In the event that like the ballistics tree gets a big buff, more players would switch to playing dual pistols, and therefore more players would want to buy the rare dual pistol cosmetic. Now, I have had a want to buy offer out there on the Discord for both the new dual cosmetic, like peak cosmetics that I'm after. I need a shadow essence and I need a trapped demon soul. Please let me know if you have one and are willing to sell it to me. I've been doing the dynamics, getting unlucky, and also have seen 0 on the market, and I check it like daily, dude. It's bothering me. I'm trying to look cool. Anyways, those specific two, I think like if a ballistics buff came in and more people played dual pistols, and trapped demon soul and shadow essence could be like a couple items that could see like a big swing in price if demand really jumps on. Because like some of the current cosmetics that are super, super popular is like a lot of people play Lightblade, a lot of people play Sword and Board, a lot of people play like the dual wield, right? And so some of those cosmetics are super, super high demand right now. You mentioned infusions as a classic example. I think that's a good one too. When tier 8, the dev team has mentioned tier 8 is going to come eventually to the game. So tier 8 equipment. Now, if tier 8 equipment was to follow the same pattern of needing more infusions than the previous tier, oh golly. Yeah, infusions would be a classic example. I will say this though, as more and more players hit 100% infused up, like that player, I don't even know if anybody is. I'm sure somebody is. That's intense, though. That's a lot of infusions. That's more than I've probably ever even found in the game to just do like one item, right? But anyways, the top dog, as he reaches 100% infused, all of the infusions that he gets is now going to get added onto the supply. Like he's just going to be selling them, right? Selling them. So I think as the player base matures and gets closer to maxed out, demand's going to shrivel and supply is going to increase. So it's a little bit of a dangerous one. I think infusions are a little bit of a dangerous because I could see them becoming more expensive as more players join the game and need it. I could see it becoming more expensive as tier 8 equipment comes out, but I could also see it becoming cheapened by end game players. So, and that's honestly one ties back into the point where like investing in your character power means so much, because if you are putting all your infusions into your gear until you are maxed out, well, now all those infusions is now just income for you. So yeah. Anyways, this has been a great question. A lot of to discuss about that one. So great question, Mango. Keep them coming. And please, guys, if you are interested in having your questions answered on the podcast, leave a comment below with your viewer question. That is going to wrap up episode 2 of the RavenQuest podcast with Andy, where we take you from patch notes to profits. If you enjoyed today's episode, please make sure to give me a like. And until next time, take care and good luck with your grind.